Hi, everybody. Welcome back to Crafting and Crime Daily. My understanding is there is a decision in the sentencing phase of the Chad Daybell case that will be announced at 11:15 their time in Boise, Idaho. Here it is 12:06, so we have a few minutes. I thought I'd go a little bit early to give you time to jump in. If you're watching back on the replay, let me know you stopped by, do #replay, and thank you for subscribing. I've got a lot of new subscribers. I really appreciate it. CrimeCon is going on. All the big YouTubers are at CrimeCon. I wish I was there. Someday I'm going to get there. Yeah, it's on my bucket list. So we are here. I'm just sitting here crocheting, watching the trial of David Swift, so I can cover that for you before Monday. That episode, day 3 and day 4. I'm going to get that covered for you before Monday. Yes, I did put up a sentencing phase video for Chad Daybell that went up earlier a couple hours ago that tells you all about what led up to today's decision. They've been deliberating. They started deliberating yesterday on the death penalty around 2 p.m. Hi, Dawn. How are you? And they continued till about 8 o'clock last night. So about 6 hours of deliberation yesterday. Today, they have been deliberating for about 2 hours, a couple hours. Yeah. So 8 hours total. I could be wrong about that, but that's my estimate. So we are waiting for them to go live in the courtroom. How are you today, Dawn? I'm just sitting here crocheting. I am making, here's what I'm making. These, I have a commission for Joanne's blanket, so I'm making these squares over and over and over again. This will be made into a blanket. So that's what I'm doing. Making, well, they're not squares, they're circles. But yeah, so that's what I'm doing, sitting here on a Saturday, just chilling out. You had spinal surgery. Oh my good grief. Oh, that sounds so painful. I hope you're on the good drugs. Remember how I look like on the good drugs, because I'll probably never look better, Dawn. I hope you recover quickly from that. I don't want to talk about it too much because it's a private thing, but gosh, I hurt for you. I do. Hi, Robin. How are you? I'm glad you could stop by. This is supposed to be announced at 11:15, so we have about, I don't know, 5 minutes, 6 minutes. Hopefully, they're always late. You know how that goes. Always late. So, man, I'm just trying to figure out where to start this red. This first part is always the whole, it is painful and I'm on the good drugs. Oh, yeah. You bet. If I had spinal surgery, I better be on the good drug. You know what? I'm so scared of spinal surgery and my back has been killing me, but it works for some people. It doesn't work for others. I pray that it works for you. I really do. No diamond painting while you are recovering. I'm not sure you could do that anyway, but yeah, because it's just not a good mixture. You'll find out you put all the wrong drills down. You can try to crochet, but I wouldn't recommend that either, because you're probably going to end up frogging most of it out after you realize you've done the wrong stitch. Here we go. 1, 2, 3. So I was saying before, all the big YouTubers are at CrimeCon. I want to go. Like Nancy Grace is there. Nate Eaton is there. All the big guys. They're all at CrimeCon. You had such problems with sciatica. Wow. Yeah, that's not good. Well, I hope it's better. I really do. Lynn, good morning. Good morning. I hope it is a good Saturday morning for you. It's just now Saturday afternoon here. I thought we might be getting some rain. It's been overcast the last couple of days, but no rain to speak of. Anyway, I'm barbecuing today. I have said I'm barbecuing, and my gosh, I'm going to barbecue. Yesterday, I got to the yarn store. I bought some yarn. I'll show it to you tomorrow in my live. It's because it's over there. But Joann's was having a yarn sale. I made it. I got there. Okay. We are at what time? Got a few minutes. If they're running on time, we have a few minutes before they come into the courtroom. So I'm just going to continue my little crocheting here. Y'all can't see. Here it is. Here, I've got bunches. It looks terrible right at the beginning, but as it comes together, it'll look much better. I got all these strings hanging here. So it's been a quiet morning. I've been watching the David Swift trial. Oh, my word. So long story short, there was some swinging going on. So you're going to have to watch that one for more information on that. But yeah, this involves some swinging. So don't listen to that episode around the children because they'll, Mom, she was in a swing? Well, maybe. Yeah. What's a swinger? Okay. Don't want to have to answer those questions. What are they saying? Well, they're saying 11:15. So here we are. What are y'all doing today? For some reason, I don't usually like to talk about myself, but I have been dizzy all morning, and I don't know why. I don't know if I took the wrong medication, or is that the one you're crocheting for Joanna? Yes, it is. Yeah, these I call them squares. They're not squares, but yeah, these circles. They're all going to be put together for a blanket. And there's a bunch of them. So, yeah, that's what I've been doing this morning. Robin's diamond painting. You know what? You know what I'm going to show you tomorrow? I finished the Afghan cat. Yeah, it's over there. The eyes, the way I did the eyes with these little crystals, and they, like, depending on where you look at the painting, like, it feels like the cat's eyes are following you. It's pretty cool. And they change color, like, depending on what angle you're looking at the cat. So I will show that in tomorrow's live. Because that's when we talk about crafting. Diamond painting and relaxing. That's me too. I think when this is over, I might have to go take a nap. I got to figure out why I'm dizzy. I don't know. And nobody was live last night. Nikki wasn't live. Jen wasn't live. Oh my gosh. Well, I know T-Ma was live. So there was something to watch out there. But I was so YouTubed out last night. I was watching something on TV. I don't remember what. I was so tired. I don't know what I was watching. Yeah, I don't know why I'm dizzy. I don't know. It's strange. I didn't start a new medication, but I got a refill of my medication, and I'm wondering if they gave me the wrong dosage of one of the meds. I'm going to have to look because that's the only thing I can think of. I don't know. It's very weird. All right. We got part 2 done. We got white and we got red going now. Now we're going to go back to the white. This is done in an interlocking pattern, which is, it's really not for beginners like me. Well, I don't think I'm a beginner, but I'm not advanced. But I've figured this one out. Tammy, good morning, good afternoon, wherever you are. Hello, hello. Welcome to the live reading of the jury's decision on whether Chad Daybell will get the death penalty. So if they're not unanimous, it's probable that he'll get life in prison without the possibility of parole. If they're unanimous and they agree that there are aggravating factors, I can read those aggravating factors to you that they were looking for. Hold on. I have to get back to that page. Whether the murders of JJ, Tylee, and Tammy were committed for remuneration, which they were, life insurance, Social Security money, and whether the crimes were particularly heinous, atrocious, cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity. That just sounds like what this case is, doesn't it? Yeah. So if they find those factors, then they may agree on the death penalty. Now, if they don't find those factors, then he could just get a straight up sentence, a life sentence with the possibility they don't find factors. But, I kind of doubt that that's what's going to happen. Anyway, we'll know in a few minutes, won't we? I am watching the courtroom, but I need to be watching it on a different screen. So let me just make sure that I've got that. Yep, there it is. Okay. So here it is. When they go live, we will know. I'll put myself inside of the video. There we go. And I'm going to take it off the screen until they come into the courtroom. So we're just everyone's sort of gathering at this point. They had to get the family time together. What just happened? My screen went black for a minute. I don't know why. I'm on my second cup of coffee this morning with my gnome cup. Here it is. There's the girl gnome. There's the guy gnome. Tink, tink. Good afternoon. She's over in the UK. Hello. What's going on over there today? We're just waiting. They are supposed to announce the decision of the jury at 11:15 Boise, Idaho time, which was 4 minutes ago. But we are waiting for them to go live. They're never on time. Never. Always late. But that's, par for the course. I'm just sitting here working on this blanket that I'm making for Joanna. She should be in here. Let me text her. Joanna. She just sent me an Instagram reel. We'll see. Oh, not bad weather after work, so I'm good. Oh, you had to work today? Oh, that sucks. I was trying to in a court case in the past 2 days. It's been incredibly busy. I still have to cover the sentencing for, oh my God, the name just flew out of my head. Michelle Troconis. That has today too. So the day before, when we had the verdict in this case, the Chad Daybell case, not long after that, it was pretty close in Trump case, and I was like, what? It was a good day. You work every Saturday and Sunday. Oh, that's terrible. I'm so sorry. I messed up. See, I cannot talk and do crafts at the same time, which is why I always film the crafting before I go. Oh, goodness. All right, now I can do it. If I'm thinking about it, I can do it. Have I already messed up? No, I have not. Okay. We're good. You're back home at 2 o'clock. I cannot. Nope. Okay, we're in the courtroom. Let's go in. Please be seated.
Morning, everyone. Record on case CR 2221-1623, State of Idaho versus Chad Daybell. This is the special sentencing proceeding that has been conducted the last couple of days. The jury's been deliberating. The court is advised that the jury has reached a verdict on the special sentencing proceeding and the special verdict form. I'll note the state's present with the 4 prosecutors who've tried the case, Mr. Pryor and his client, Mr. Daybell, present as well. I'll also note there's a courtroom conduct order in effect. I'd appreciate everyone complying with that, as you all have throughout this trial. I will note on the record, before we get to the verdict, that we did have a jury question yesterday that the court answered, and I've provided the question and copies of the answer to counsel. In addition, a second question came in today. I did go on the record with that question and answer with counsel and the defendant present, returned that response to the jurors. They've now reached a verdict in the case, so the court is going to have the jurors brought in and have the verdict delivered for reading.
All right, please. Jury's all present. Counter for Your Honor.
Thank you. Please be seated. Ladies and gentlemen of the jury that understand. All right, Mr. Bailiff, if you would please return the special verdict form to the court, I'll review that. The gentleman, it's somewhat long and complicated. The court is going to take a moment to review the form. All right, the court's reviewed the special verdict form. I do find it's been properly filled out by the jury foreperson as well as correctly signed and dated. At this time, I am going to request, Madam Clerk, Ms. Holstein, if you would please read the special verdict form. If you'd like to remain seated or standing, it's a long form and will take some time to read, but however is most comfortable for you, Madam Clerk, you may go ahead and read the special verdict form into the record.
In the District Court of the 7th Judicial District of the State of Idaho, in and for the County of Fremont, State of Idaho Plaintiff versus Chad Daybell Defendant, case number CR 22211623, special verdict. Part 1. We, the jury, render the following verdict on the alleged statutory unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance. The murder of Tylee Ryan was committed for remuneration, or the defendant employed another to commit the murder for remuneration or the promise of remuneration. Yes. 2. Has the jury unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance? The murder of Joshua Jackson, hereinafter J.J. Ballo, was committed for remuneration, or the defendant employed another to commit the murder for remuneration or the promise of remuneration. Yes. 3. Has the jury unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance? The murder of Tamra, hereinafter Tammy Daybell, was committed for remuneration, or the defendant employed another to commit the murder for remuneration or the promise of remuneration. Yes. 4. Has the jury unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance? The murder of Tylee Ryan was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity. Yes. 5. Has the jury unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance? The murder of J.J. Ballo was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity. Yes. 6. Has the jury unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance? The murder of Tammy Daybell was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity. Yes. 7, has the jury unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance? By the murders or circumstances surrounding their commission, the defendant exhibited. 8, has the jury unanimously found that the state has proven beyond a reasonable doubt the existence of the following aggravating circumstance? The defendant, by his conduct, whether such conduct was before, during, or after the commission of the murders at hand, has exhibited a propensity to commit murder, which will probably constitute a continuing threat to society. Yes. If you answered no to each of the above questions, you do not need to answer any other questions. Simply have the presiding juror sign this verdict form and notify the bailiff that you are done. If you answered yes to any of the above questions, then please answer the questions in part 2. Part 2. We, the jury, render the following verdict on the weighing of all mitigating circumstances against the statutory aggravating circumstances. You are to only answer the following questions for those statutory aggravating circumstances for which you answered yes in part 1. Was committed for remuneration, or the defendant employed another to commit the murder for remuneration or the promise of remuneration. We unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 2, with respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the murder of Joshua Jackson, hereinafter J.J. Vallow, was committed for remuneration, or the defendant employed another to commit the murder for remuneration or the promise of remuneration, we unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 3, with respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the murder of Tamara, hereinafter Tammy Daybell, was committed for remuneration, or the defendant employed another to commit the murder for remuneration or the promise of remuneration, we unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 4, with respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the murder of Tylee Ryan was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity, we unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 5, with respect to the
Did we lose the mic?
It's back. 5, with respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the murder of J.J. Vallow was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity, we unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances.
Do we need a new mic? Okay, we're going to get a separate mic. Thank you.
I'll read 5 over.
Yes, start with 5 again. Thank you, Madam Clerk.
5. Okay. With respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the murder of J.J. Vallow was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity, we unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 6, with respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the murder of Tammy Daybell was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity, we unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, All mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 7. Surrounding their commission, the defendant exhibited utter disregard for human life. We unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. 8. With respect to the statutory aggravating circumstance that the defendant, by his conduct, whether such conduct was before, during, or after the commission of the murders at hand, has exhibited a propensity to commit murder, which will probably constitute a continuing threat to society. We unanimously find that when weighed against this aggravating circumstance, all mitigating circumstances are not sufficiently compelling to make imposition of the death penalty unjust. Once you have completed part 2, please have the presiding juror sign this verdict form and notify the bailiff you are done. Dated this first day of June 2024 and signed by the presiding juror.
All right. Thank you very much, Madam Clerk, for reading through the verdict form. Ladies and gentlemen, the court will note that given the complexity of this special verdict form, just I think in fairness to all those in attendance, including in particular victims and the parties, the layman's explanation of this verdict is that the jury has made a finding that it would be appropriate to impose the death penalty as it relates to counts 1 through 6 in the amended indictment. And so pursuant to Idaho Code 192515, the court is directed that the defendant would be sentenced to death on those counts. The court will take up a concluding sentencing proceeding. I also have additional counts of insurance fraud I've discussed with counsel. Moving forward in a consolidated hearing, the court's proposing that we do that this morning, waiving the right to a pre-sentence investigation report under Criminal Rule 32A. Before I get there, just let me ask at this time of the jurors, is this your true and correct verdict that's been rendered in this case? Very well. Does the state wish to have the jury polled on the special verdict form?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Does the defense wish to have the jury polled on this special verdict form?
No, thank you, Your Honor.
Very well. As I mentioned, then that's the result of the verdict form. The court would then proceed with additional sentencing on those 2 counts, as well as the counts 1 through 6 determined now by the jury. Mr. Pryor, is the defense willing to move forward with a consolidated hearing on those counts this morning without a pre-sentence investigation report?
As previously indicated, Judge, yes, we are.
Okay. Is the state going to be ready to proceed with a sentencing on those issues as well?
Yes, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you. Counsel, I do want to take a brief recess just to briefly prepare for that, given the verdict, and I will come back on the bench. It really won't take long. I would suggest that a 30-minute recess will come back on the record. The court will conclude with that sentencing hearing. So if everybody could be back here by 10 after, we'll have the jury return one last time to the jury room to wait for that final sentencing hearing. We'll conduct that in the presence of the jurors also, and then I'll have concluding instructions for the jurors. So we will be in recess for 30 minutes. We'll come back and start proceeding. Thank you.
Wow. Okay. It was unanimous. I thought perhaps there was a holdout, but it may have just taken all that time just to get through the verdict form. It was pretty lengthy. So, in other words, they found, first of all, he didn't present any mitigating factors. The aggravating factors, so there was no mitigating factors to even consider which is strange that he didn't do that. But the murders were done for remuneration, life insurance, Social Security, and then they found that Kylie, JJ, and Tammy's murders were heinous, atrocious, or cruel, manifesting exceptional depravity. So on all three. So imagine what took so long is they had to talk about each one of those. That he showed an utter disregard for human life. Well, yeah, because he's not human. He's an exalted being, and these were demons. So I'm going to turn the courtroom to see if anybody comes in lights. I will put that back on. Just want to watch it. Here, I'll add it to the stage. Where did it go? There it is. All right. Nobody's at the mic right now. They're probably all for the only reason I'm interested in this, he's got a sentence, he's got to death penalty, and they've got to adjudicate him guilty and then do the official sentencing. Not only the death penalty portion, but the insurance fraud portions, So after it'll probably run concurrent with the death penalty, I'm assuming. So mitigating circumstances, like I said, that were compelling enough to overcome all of those aggravating circumstances. And I think that was it. Aggravating factors. Oh, so sad. But if you watch my show earlier today, the Idaho, the death penalty is not going too well in Idaho. It'll be years and years and years before they get to it. They have to, this country's got to look at the death penalty. I tried to execute it in Idaho not long ago, this year, in fact, not so it was very recent. And unable to find a vein in the guy so they could administer the fluid. Okay, so here we go. This is the East Idaho news.
Chad Daybell has just been sent after deliberations. The jurors unanimously decided that Chad Daybell deserved the death penalty based on the aggravating factors of the case. I'm going to read these to you. The jury found that Tylee and JJ's murders were committed for remuneration, or they also found that Tammy Day's murder was committed for compensation, or that compensation. The jury had murders, especially heinous, atrocious, cruel. They also found that JJ's murder was especially heinous, atrocious, or cruel, and that Tammy Daybell's murder was also especially heinous, atrocious. The jury found that Chad disregard Chad Daybell's conduct exhibits a propensity, an incredibly tense hearing. Chad did not display any emotion. He didn't even move. He stared at Judge Boyd and the clerk the entire time they read the verdict. We've been out here since about 7:30 this morning, or 11:30. Valerie, especially, Larry Woodcock was hugging her. The family was very, very emotional. A response from Chad Daybell. He does still have to be sentenced on charges. So come back. Judge Boyle will hear the him, so he already knows. Will be pre-sentence investigate these charges, but
Sorry about that. So I do want to answer Tammy's question. Why take up the other charges? Well, Chad's going to appeal. He'll have years and years and years of appeals. And if this sentence or this verdict is ever overturned, he would still have to serve time for the insurance fraud. So that's why they have to go ahead and sentence him on the insurance fraud, just in case the murder and the conspiracy to commit murder charges are overturned for God knows what reason it could be. But that's all. There's always a chance of that. You never know. So any other questions I can answer for you? Are Chad and Lori allowed to communicate through the mail because they were married? Good question. They don't have any phone calls. We know that. There's been no phone calls. I don't know about mail. That would be interesting. And do the prison have a right to read through the mail? I don't know. The way he threw her under the bus, though, I wouldn't want anything to do with him. Like in the closings yesterday, man, John Pryor threw her under the bus and ran over her and then backed up and ran over her again. It was terrible. She, all that glitters is not gold. And she was a glittery person in Chad's life, but she wasn't gold. That was his quote. He was just this shy little religious boy who didn't have much life experience, not a man of the world. So she duped him. I'm not so sure he's wrong, but Chad was full of himself with that religious nonsense. I'm sorry. Yeah. And they just took it too far, way too far. It just got out of control. So I do want to hear the sentencing because usually the judge will have some remarks, and I'm curious if this judge is going to have any remarks regarding what he observed during the trial. I don't know. We'll see. So this is as far as I got because I was writing all this down. The poor jury had to, well, they were sequestered last night, so they'll get to sit through this sentencing and then they'll get to go home. Yes, Lori's trial will still proceed in Arizona. So that's the next one that we'll cover. I don't know when that's going to be. I don't know when that's scheduled for, but my understanding is she is in Arizona, in the jail over in Arizona. So they did not charge Chad with that murder because they didn't have enough evidence, they thought, to convict him. The police wanted him to be charged, but he wasn't charged. Now, how did I mess this up? Oh, I didn't mess it up. Okay, good. I thought I messed it up. Anyway, just leave it alone. You can't talk and crochet at the same time. So, sorry about that. To the courtroom. Let me just mute this here. This young lady from East Idaho News is talking. The reason Nate Eaton is not there is because he's at CrimeCon interviewing all the big guys. Yeah. They're all at CrimeCon. Someday I'm going to go. I will. I have to write this down. It's in May. I remember when it was last year, too. Because last year, you know who was at CrimeCon? The attorneys that were represented Alex Murdaugh. They went to CrimeCon last year. I don't know if you guys remember that. Last year, this time, we were all Alex Murdaugh. This year, we're Chad Daybell. But you know what's coming up here soon? Alex Baldwin. That's the next big trial. The Rust. We're going back to the set of Rust, this ridiculous Western that they were putting on. I can't stand Westerns. I'm not a Western person. I know everybody loves Yellowstone. I'm just not. I'm not there. I can't. I like crime dramas. I really do. The one I started watching last night was I love these foreign films that they dub in English. This is a series about a woman that was tricked into being a surrogate. Yeah. I'm like 2 episodes in of 24 episodes. Yeah. Can you tell I'm waiting for Bridgerton to come back? Come back, Bridgerton. What did he say? 30 minutes? That means an hour. You don't like Westerns either. Like, I was never like a Clint Eastwood fan, or I'm just not into Westerns. So that's it. I didn't want to break and then come back live, so we might as well just sit here and chit chat. Oh my gosh. So I can tell you about the dog saga. It's ongoing. We have an appointment to put him down. Don't ask me what that's all about. It's my sister's doing it. So he's still here. He's still keeping us up at night, so anyway, it is what it is. But he needs, he's on his last leg. Poor guy. I think the other animals will miss him when he does go. I really do. But that's the drama in my house. Yeah. So Dawn, are you watching any TV? When I had surgery, remember when I had the knee replacement? Here's a tip. If you watch anything, you're going to have to rewatch it after you get better, because I can remember watching Bridgerton season 2 when I was high on whatever the Percocet or whatever it was, and I had to rewatch the whole thing. It was just, yeah. I couldn't remember any of it. Not a thing. The name of the show that I'm watching, I think it's here. Let me turn on Netflix. I'll tell you real quick. It's on Netflix. It's probably, I'm going to say it's out of Mexico. It's a Mexican show that they dub it in English. The Surrogacy. That's the name of it. The Surrogacy. So I'm on episode 3. I love The Circle, but I can't get into it this time. I don't know why. I'm looking to see what else is interesting. I'm in season 4 of Grey's Anatomy. I stopped watching that it got a little bit boring. But June 16th is right around the corner, right? That's when Bridgerton comes back. You're watching Grey's Anatomy too? Yay. That's a good one for when you're in pain. Yes. You're going to watch a hospital drama. I can tell you, none of that happens in a hospital. No. There's no sex in the on-call room that I'm aware of anyway, but as a nurse or a risk manager, I don't remember ever coming across that issue in the hospital. And I was in administration, so I would know, because when you're in administration, you hear all the buzz. I never heard any buzz about sex in the on-call room, but we'll go with it because it's a show and it's fun to watch. McDreamy, what does he see in her? She's ugly. Meredith Grey is ugly. Like, move on. Go out and date the cute nurse. Forget about Meredith. Oh God, I'm terrible. It could have, she's lasted how many seasons with that show? 20 seasons. It's crazy. All right, I'll show you what's going on. We still have we're still waiting for the judge to come back. He's probably got to finalize his remarks and that kind of thing, because I'm sure that he'll give some remarks. If you're just tuning in, we have already heard the verdict, and the jury has unanimously decided that Chad Daybell should get the death penalty. What we're waiting for now is the judge has taken a brief recess. Brief meaning 30 minutes. Sentencing. They've waived the right to a pre-sentencing investigation, and he will, because he still has to sentence him to the death penalty, because it was just a recommendation by the jury. He could come back and not do it, but he doesn't have to follow the recommendation. But in any case, he'll sentence him to the death penalty. He'll sentence him on the insurance fraud allegations that he was convicted of, too, because there were two different life insurance companies for Tammy. So there's two different counts for each count of fraud against each life insurance company. One was for $300,000, the other one was for $130,000 that they spent on their wedding in Kauai or whatever, Maui or wherever they were. I don't know. I've never been to Hawaii. It's not on my bucket list. I'm not a beach person. I lived in Florida for like most of my life, and I'm not a beach person. I tried to run on the beach once. It was horrible. There's no worse place to run than on the beach. It's crazy trying to run on the beach. So when he comes back, he will do the official sentencing. I just wanted to see the man in an orange jumpsuit, and he's still wearing the suit and tie. This is something I haven't talked about. You could put the camera on him, and sometimes, are we still, am I still alive? What's going on? Because his expression never changes. Never changes. If somebody just told me that you're going to sentence me to death, the modern version of Grey's Anatomy is so different than way back in the beginning. Oh, then I can't wait to catch up. Okay, I'll keep doing it till I catch up. Because I think I stopped watching it, I don't know, 8 or 9. But I said, what the heck, and I went all the way back to the beginning, and now I'm in season 4. Karen, hello, welcome. Nice to have you. We are waiting for the judge to return and complete the sentencing. He has asked the jury to wait in the jury room because he would like them to participate in the, at least watch the sentencing part of the trial. You're changing your name. My name is related to Tammy Baker and now Good idea. My internet keeps flickering and I don't know why that is. It's very strange. Stop. Don't do that again. Can y'all hear me? Y'all can hear me. I thought I was muted. Okay. We just started. Yeah, but I do remember there's a plane crash and I stopped watching the show. So I'm guessing you guys can hear me because my mic says I'm muted, but I think my settings got changed accidentally. Let me just see. This thing it's always changing my settings. I don't know why it does that. Audio. Yeah, I'm going through the computer right now, so my microphone's not even on. I wish you. Let me try going back through the microphone, and maybe that will stop because that's kind of annoying. All right, now I'm on the microphone. I don't know why it just switches on its own. Because you guys were there and I thought I was muted and I was playing a crochet tutorial on my tutorial. Yeah. So can you hear okay with my phone? It's better. Can you hear my fan? I'm going to turn the fan off. My cat is sound asleep on top of the yarn. He has this little place that he likes to. So cute. I guess I'm not going to be using that yarn anytime soon. He has to be in whatever room I'm in. How long have we been waiting? Sherry, they've already given. What will happen is once I'm done with this live, I'll go back and put chapters so you'll know where that verdict started. And you can hear it again if you missed it. I can hear you, but your pick today. Anyway, the jury was unanimous on their recommendation for the death penalty. So what we're waiting for now is the judge took a brief recess. He is going to complete the sentencing because he still has to officially sentence him to the death penalty, because right now all we have is a recommendation by the jury for the death penalty. And he's going to send on 2 counts of insurance fraud, which will likely be some 5-year sentence that will run concurrent. I suspect something like that. I don't know what the law is in Boise on this. That I apologize about my lots of lag. Really? I don't know why that is. I'll turn off Netflix. It wasn't really on, but I just recently switched to AT&T internet. I had Cox and I canceled the cable because nobody watches the cable anymore. So it's quite a bit less expensive, but I hope I'm not having internet problems from now on. Interesting. We'll see. So I am watching backstage to make sure that when they come back into the courtroom, they are outside the courtroom in case anybody comes out and wants to speak to the media. We'll report in the courtroom when death penalty decision was read. Buck started crying. That woman has been through hell. She's grandma. Grandmas. I feel sorry for her. I'm a grandma. Get it? So sad. And the first several months of his life, that was her baby. JJ. And I saw Colby Ryan in there with his wife. I think he was in the audience. Are we still lagging? I shut up so hopefully we're not lagging anymore. I'm trying to see if anything else connected. I do not. We'll see those tomorrow night on game night. Oh. Okay. We just went blank again. This is annoying. Very annoying. I don't think we're expecting any bad weather here. Right now, the sun is out. It should be lagging, but we'll see. So, Sherry, how is it over there in Colorado today? Is it a beautiful day? what I've been doing this morning is working on these circles for my friend's blanket, Joanna's blanket. All of these circles will be connected and make one big blanket. So I'm on that today. While I listened to the testimony on day 3 and 4 of the David Swift case, which is so interesting. A whole nother subject matter, a whole different kind of a goddess. Apparently we have people seeing. Yeah, and I feel bad for the couple because that's kind of a private thing, and now they're having to like talk about it on YouTube in front of everybody. Of course, that was 11 years ago. You know, who knows if they still do that? But the man is kind of a good-looking guy, so you never know. Maybe they're not particular. They look like they're in their 40s, maybe now. So, what time did they go out? I didn't know. Oh, I just read a comment in the live. Oh, God, that's terrible. Somebody commented that nobody escapes getting married, Lori Daybell. Oh, God, so true. I don't know about the first husband, but you know, all those other husbands. Wow. Charles, Joe, and now Chad. She must be something else, I tell you. She don't look so good now, though, man. Although I hear she is very popular in the jail because she does people's hair, so they all love her. So. And she was always really good at making friends and, you know, influencing people. So Chad will start, you know, he'll start Chad, and although he'll kept in a different area of the prison, you know, he'll be on death row as opposed to with the general population. So maybe not. I originally said that, you know, he didn't give any mitigation because on with it. He just wants to get on with it and expropriation. So we can be, this is annoying. This is annoying. I apologize, everybody. Well, I don't know why it's doing. I don't think it's my internet. I think StreamYard. It's got to have been 30 minutes by now, I think. But this court never does anything on time. No court does. You can never go by the time in court. Manipulating people. Both of them. Darn. Like having a little pillow top mattress for him. He's not directly on the yarn. There's something over it. So don't worry about the cat hair. Do y'all want to see my painting? Having trouble connecting. This is often caused by an unstable internet connection. What? See, it used to say that before when I had Cox. Then I got the extender, had to put it out here. I might have to buy. Yeah. Sorry about that. Let me see what he told me what kind of an extender to buy. So I do apologize. I am going to keep breaking up. Apparently, it wants me to be closer to the router. Put the router out. You have to see my notebook, guys. This is most of. Let me see. This is Chad Daybell. That's just one notebook. I have another one that I finished. So a lot of notes for Chad Daybell. I am paying attention. They have not come back into the courtroom yet. I could show you guys the painting. I finished a painting, so I don't see my notes. All right, let me go get it. It's very large. Here we go. I see where I have a hole. Okay, a couple of holes. I need to fill those. So luckily I haven't kitted down yet because I found a couple of places I got to put drills. And that cat looks so much like Stitch. It really does. So I don't have another painting on my desk right now. I'm trying to get caught up on all the crochet that I'm working on. And of course, I went and bought more yarn yesterday. I wrote down the specific thing he told me to buy if I needed it. He said you could get it on Amazon. Where did I write it down at? This judge is taking his time. Still looking. It's in here somewhere. Was it that far back? No, come on. Maybe. Wait a minute. Is that it? I could write a book. This is so much notes. This is crazy. All these details. Wow. Anyway, I don't know where he put it. Oh, maybe I wrote it in the back. No. I wrote down everybody that I bought puzzles for. Anyway. Where are they? Oh, they're back. Yay. Let's put them in here.
All right, please. Here's all President Counter for Your Honor.
Thank you. Please proceed. Okay, we are back on the record on CR 2220, which is the punishment for murder statute in Idaho, that crime in murder of the first degree can be punished by death. And under Idaho Code 1925, if the jury finds that a statutory aggravating circumstance exists and no mitigating circumstances exist, sentenced to death by the court. The court's reviewed the findings of the jurors in the special verdict form. They've taken their time through these deliberations to return that verdict. And so the court will proceed with sentencing first on counts 1 through 6. And again, this is an unusual hearing because the sentencing hearing's already been taking place. We've heard from the victims through impact statements and arguments from counsel. That's already taken place. In addition, a pre-sentence investigation report is not to be ordered in these hearings, so the court does not reference that. The court then orders as follows, and this will be contained in the court's judgment at the conclusion of the case. As to count 1, the conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft by deception for the murder of Tylee Ryan, upon the jury's finding of guilty and return of the special verdict form, the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count 1, the defendant is sentenced to death. On count 2, the first-degree murder of Tylee Ryan, the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count 2, sentences the defendant to death. On count 3, the conspiracy to commit first-degree murder and grand theft by deception for the murder of J.J. Vallow, the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count 3, sentences the defendant to death. On count 4, first-degree murder of J.J. Vallow, the jury finding beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count 4, sentences the defendant to death. On count 5, conspiracy to commit first-degree murder of Tammy Daybell, the jury, having found beyond a reasonable doubt and having returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count 5, sentences the defendant to death. On count 6, the first-degree murder charge, the murder of Tammy Daybell, the jury, having found beyond a reasonable doubt and returned the special verdict that the aggravating circumstances when weighed against the mitigating circumstances do not make the imposition of the death penalty unjust. The court, therefore, on count 6, sentences the defendant to death. The court's next going to take up counts 7 and 9 on the insurance fraud counts. Before I do that, from the state, are there any questions regarding the court's judgment as it relates to counts 1 through 6?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Questions from the defense?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
All right, moving on to insurance fraud, then the court will note that I am required to go through a sentence These are separate counts that have not been determined in the special verdict form by the jurors. Some brief procedural history. Mr. Daybell was charged by amended indictment with counts 7 and 9 insurance fraud under Idaho Code 41293, which is a felony. Mr. Daybell pled not guilty to those counts on June 9th, 2021. Thereafter, this trial was held, and as part of the findings of the jury in their verdict, they did find the defendant guilty of both of those counts. The court has considered, in lieu of a pre-sentence investigation report, the information that I've heard throughout this trial. I also heard information regarding these charges in the previous trial held last year against co-defendant Lori Vallow. I've also heard information received during the special sentencing proceeding relating to those counts as well, and have considered that information in lieu of a pre-sentence investigation report. And I'll also note the defendant waived the pre-sentence investigation report and is permitted to do that, and the court can allow that under Criminal Rule 32A. At this time then, before I move forward with the sentencing on counts 7 and 9, I will inquire of the state, is the state wishing to make any sentencing recommendation as it relates to count 7 or 9?
And Your Honor, just for clarification, were the insurance frauds count 8 and 9?
As listed in the amended indictment, they are listed as counts 7 and count 9.
Thank you. Co-counsel just clarified for me on that. Your Honor, the state is prepared to make a statement. First, I would indicate for the record that in relation to the sentencing hearing, the sentencing portion handled yesterday, the state did make our best attempts to reach out to all statutory victims to allow them the opportunity to be heard by the court. And those that the court heard from yesterday were the ones that had wished to make impact statements. While not directly related to the insurance fraud, I did just want to make record of that. In relation to the insurance, the sentence has been imposed by this court and by the recommendation of the jury in relation to the other charges. The state would indicate we think that the victim statements covered everything the state could say. While the insurance charges again are attenuated to it, we've lost 3 individuals that the state can do nothing to bring them back. And so the best we can do is move forward in seeking justice on their behalves. In relation to the insurance counts themselves, given the sentences, we would recommend this court impose jail time and have that, or prison time, impose a sentence and run it concurrent with the other sentence by this court. I believe they carry up to 15 years in prison. We'd recommend they run concurrent with each other and with the imposition of death in this case. We would also recommend restitution in the amount of $130,000 to LifeMap and $300,000 to Primerica. As part of that, we would also recommend a waiver of any fines or court costs in this matter in order to allow restitution to be paid if any money is available to go towards that.
All right, thank you for the state's sentencing recommendations. Mr. Pryor, does the defense wish to make sentencing recommendations as to, I'll do them collectively, counts 7 and 9, the insurance fraud counts?
No, Judge, there's nothing further. Thank you, Your Honor.
All right, is there any objection to the requested restitution amounts of 130,000 and 300,000?
Judge, we may need to set that out at this point, but I'll let the court know if that changes.
All right, I'll permit 30 days for the scheduling of a contested hearing on restitution. If that becomes an issue, we could conduct that hearing most likely remotely on a Zoom hearing if it becomes an issue. At this time, I will ask, because I need to on these counts, before I impose any sentence, Mr. Daybell, you do have the right of allocution, which permits you to make a statement on your own behalf in any mitigation of these offenses. Is there any statement you would like to make before I proceed with sentencing on those counts?
No.
Very well. The court then, having considered the information previously referenced, finds that pursuant to Idaho Code 41293, which under subsection 4 indicates a penalty of up to 15 years of prison. On each of those two counts, the court is going to impose a prison sentence of 15 years. So a 15-year sentence will be imposed on count 7. Restitution requested by the state. The court will not impose any fines. The court also will impose a 15-year prison sentence on count 9. Also pursuant to the same statute, take under advisement the issue of restitution. The court will note in imposing these prison sentences that I have reviewed Idaho Code 192521, which requires me to go through certain criteria about the imposition of a prison sentence versus a possibility of, I would note that the rationale for the prison sentences is that these are intertwined with the murder charges for which the death penalty has been incarcerated an extensively long time in local jail and has a previous law-abiding history. Respectfully, from what I've heard from all of the jailers that have ever interacted with him over the years that he's been incarcerated for these charges. However, the court finds under Idaho Code 2521 also that any lesser sentence would depreciate the seriousness of these offenses because this life insurance was obtained based on the murder individuals and procuring life insurance payouts lawfully, and because of that could lead to that. In addition, imprisonment will provide an appropriate punishment and deterrent for the defendants and will also be a deterrent for the community as well. So the concluded with the sentencing on that, I will not order any fines because the defendant's previously been deemed indigent in these murder counts and find it would be futile to have an order of fines in the case. So with those remarks, then the court typically would address the defendant further, but in this special sentencing proceeding, the victim impact statements and the evidence has already demonstrated on the record, I think, the seriousness of what's occurred. And I don't find any reason to further delve into the court's rationale other than what was listed in the statute. So unless there's anything further, that will conclude the sentencing, but I will address the post-conviction issues that need to be addressed at this time. Does the state have anything further then on the sentence and count 7 and count 9?
Thank you.
Okay. Mr. Daybell, in this case, given the sentence that was imposed in counts 1 through 6, there's a special appellate and post-conviction cases and thematics. There's a statute that's Item 1.9 that sets out certain deadlines. I am providing you and counsel with a courtesy copy of that statute. But I will note a few sections of the time for filing an opinion to run when the death warrant is filed. Number 2, the death warrant shall not be filed until 42 days after the judgment imposing the death sentence has been filed. Number 3, within 42 days of the filing of the judgment imposing the punishment of death, the defendant must file any legal or factual challenges to the sentence of conviction. There's other important and critical deadlines that are contained within that statute, and I am going to provide a copy of that to Mr. Pryor to ensure that the defense is well advised of those post-conviction rights that would apply in this special proceeding. I'll also note that there's an additional rule, Idaho criminal rule. If you'll give me a moment, I think it's 40 44.2. Criminal Rule 44.2, and that's the mandatory appointment of counsel for post-conviction review after imposition of the death penalty. That rule is also applicable in your case, and a copy of the rule itself is going to be provided to you and counsel to ensure that you're well aware of any post-conviction rights you may have. With that, then, the court is going to conclude the special sentencing proceeding. Is there anything further I need to take up from the state?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Anything further from the defense?
No, Your Honor. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone for your abiding by the court's courtroom conduct order. We'll be in recess.
All right, please.
So he'll go to prison. He will now be forwarded to prison. They usually have an orientation that they do initially. You know, they're not put into general population right away, but it looks like the death warrant doesn't get signed for 42 days, giving them a chance to appeal. And yes, I don't know if it's automatic, but nobody does. Everybody appeals. Yes, you will. He will appeal this, of course. You'd be crazy not to, but you know, nobody ever said he was in his right mind. So in any case, interesting outcome. I don't disagree with it. He acts like he gave up and willing to go to death row without a fight. Oh, yeah, Tammy, I think that was my impression when he said yesterday they weren't going to put on any mitigation factors, that he had just given up. And, you know, I jokingly said he was just ready to go to the next probation and meet up with Lori again. He believes in the afterlife. He believes that he's going to come back in some other life. So I don't think death scares the guy. Which is their explanation for killing the kids. Oh no, they're in a safe place. They're in a safe place. We're gonna see him again someday. I guess he thinks he'll go meet up with Tammy and maybe apologize. I don't know. Terrible. Anyway, that is Una. Hi, Una. Started watching this case when I was put on lockdown in the UK. It's been both a long and a short time. Oh, okay. He's been in jail for 4 years. Yeah, 4 years. He was picked up in 2020, June of 2020, June 9th. He's been in jail since then. And his daughter visits him every day. I don't think his children were in the courtroom when this was announced. But that's who I feel bad for. Emma and Garth and the rest of his children, because you know, they were hook, line, and sinker believing in their dad. They didn't, you know, oh no, he didn't. He was duped. He's being framed. He's being framed. Now that you aren't streaming the trial, your feed is perfect. Yeah, I caught on to that. Yeah, so I think I'm definitely going to need the extender. I just texted the technician that installed the internet, because he did give me a particular name of the type of extender, and I asked him what type that was. So I will order that so that now when I'm streaming both, you know, the trial and me, it shouldn't be that bad. His actions throughout the whole trial have been like that, Tammy. He's never showed any emotion. He just doesn't. So anyway, thank you guys for watching. Don't forget on your way out today to leave a thumbs up. If you have comments, don't hesitate to leave me a comment. I read all your comments. So I did put out an episode this morning that lets you know everything. I give you excerpts of some of the impact statements that were given by the family members that were pretty gut-wrenching, pretty heartfelt from these people. They were not attacking Chad Daybell. They were just saying how they had been impacted. I don't know if they've been coached ahead of time, like, we're not going to attack the defendant. That's not what this is for. This is just to show how this has impacted your life. And each one talked about it. And it was, anyway, watch that earlier episode that I released this morning and you'll get to see that. So thank you guys for coming. And I'll be live tomorrow at 11 Central Time. And sometime this weekend, I'm going to get up the other video on the David Swift case, days 3 and day 4. Might not be till Monday morning, but I'm getting it watched so I can get that out to you guys. Have a great day, everybody, and I'll see you tomorrow. Bye.